shut up and have some more pod. Words that are as familiar to us as once a jolly swagman and the rest of that.
You know, 7 years ago I would have said, oh, it's the funny way that British people say dessert because they're stupid.
It's so different to how I remember it.
But now, pud is my lifeblood.
And I knew my life would change, and it would change in ways that I never expected.
Look at the old room, eh?
And those ways were that people would say pud to me more.
Can you believe it's still here after all these years?
Just here?
Yeah, just thanks. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
The impress plate first.
Yep.
Hungry Jack's chicken fries are so good, they speak for themselves.
You got to get YouTube Premium.
This season.
It's, yeah.
Yum, yum, yum. Mark, thank you so much for your delicious Christmas dinner. You love your pudding. Oh, there's always a little too much pud.
That's right. And the end screen is that animation from our failed ABC pilot. That's great.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's really beautiful.
When I watched that, I think, wow, that's 6 years ago. I think I've put on a fair bit of weight. I think, what was Christmas before that?
2018 for Aunty Donna, that was a fun year. That was a big year. I think we were still very working class at that time, in the sense that, you know, I was had a couple of different jobs.
What's important to remember about 2018 is it was a time of great turmoil. The Turnbull government had just been taken down by Morrison, and we were moving into a period where there was uncertainty, and for Australians that was a moment of what comes next.
And we'd been working for a number of years making YouTube videos and trying to bring comedy back to Australia. You know, there really wasn't any comedy in Australia at that point. I remember just thinking, I think I was pretty ready to throw in the towel. And Broden, he came in and he sat me down. This is the last time I saw him before he died.
He didn't die.
Oh, okay. And he sat me down and he said, listen, can we just make one more batch of sketches? We'll just shoot them in the office. We don't have to wear costumes. Can we just do one more batch of sketches? And I said, Broden, I'll give you that.
I remember Zach coming in with this crazy idea.
I saw a review for a restaurant and I noticed a very serious, very renowned restaurant critic described dessert as pud. And he said, this place didn't have very good entrees, it didn't have very good mains. Oh, the steak was slightly overdone, and then it was time for pud. And I thought to myself, isn't it funny how these people that conquered a third of the world call dessert pud, like little babies.
Starting out originally as a medieval tradition of mincemeat, a selection of possibly suet and other animal products, along with dried fruit, compounded together into a steamed or boiled pudding.
And for me, I was like, I remember going, is it too far? Is it too much? But then someone was like, Christmas, pud, Christmas time, Christmas sketch. Once those factors came in, it all really started to work.
Went into this process of these series we called Morgue, which stands for Make As We Go.
And basically the idea of Morgue was that we would just shoot sketches very quickly in lo-fi, so just beats rather than scripts.
The guys would acting, they would be there, Max would be directing, Tom would be doing sound levels, and then they were like, there's no production, there's no budget for anything.
How little money, how little effort can we put into a piece of content?
So we're doing pud and they're like, okay, we need We need props, we need pud, we need custard, we need cream. All right, I just went to Woolworths and I just bought the stuff that was there.
The day we filmed that video, I woke up and I rolled over in bed and I looked at my partner and I said, something's different today. Something's weird, something's off. And we went into the office and we all knew we were making something, and there was a kind of a vibe of, should we be doing this? Is this the right thing to do? But at the end of the day, we knew it had to be made.
We had Max behind the camera. He was just shooting. I didn't know the shots he was getting.
That first crash zoom, I think it was on Mark's face, felt like a real moment when I kind of discovered what pud was going to be. Suddenly became, aha, this is the style, this is what this sketch really needs. Then just really abusing that technique over the course of the shooting.
When the video was uploaded, initially not a lot of people watched it in the first hour, maybe hundreds. But the feedback was positive, and there was people saying, hey, what are you doing here? Hey, be careful here.
And I remember Mark called me and he said, Zach, have you been on the YouTube or on the Facebook? I said, no, it's Christmas time, I'm off. He said, I think you need to take a look.
I think within 25 seconds it had already had more views than a cat falling into a pedal bin. And I thought, something's going on here.
I remember the first time I saw the pud sketch and I thought, finally, comedians who understand food, understand the importance of food and understand the soul of food and what food means, especially at a festive time of year like Christmas.
It's referred to, I believe, as, one of the most important sketches of the 20th century. I may have gotten that wrong. I may have said that or made that up, but I know some people like it, at the very least.
I remember being at a Woolworths in Brunswick and someone coming up and saying pud to me.
That's when pud really blew up. Because a lot of what we do is very smart.
All right, there's always a little bit of room for pud.
Ah, yes. Always room for Christmas pud. A brand new book from Aunty Donna.
This book is Always Room for Christmas Pud. A Christmas bestseller, I reckon. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, an absolute Christmas bestseller.
So, I remember we got an email from Penguin Publishing.
Penguin is the biggest trade publisher in the world, probably the most recognisable brand in publishing.
I remember Penguin called us up begging us. They said, please make a pud book.
I think it came to us in an email, I think we found it in the slush pile a few years after the video came out. I think maybe their manager emailed us.
But they said, please make a pud book. And eventually, after years and years, they were asking us within a week. And eventually we said, all right, we'll make your pud book, and we put it together.
It's fair to say that some people got it instantly and some people needed a bit of convincing. I hadn't seen the video, but I'd seen it acted out at parties and I didn't quite get it.
During COVID, I think everyone was a bit bored, and Sam and Zach said, hey, we've written a pud book, and I said, go for it.
It was perfect upon its original conception, in my opinion. Of course, then we went and we rewrote it because it wasn't very good in retrospect.
Next thing I know, for 6 straight weeks, I'm promoting a book I didn't write.
We were going to bookshops. I remember we did one signing in Melbourne, and I think they said a quarter of the population of Melbourne at the time were there.
I think it was about 400.
So Zach recalls it as 1 million.
I mean, that's not what I heard, but possibly. Who am I to deny that?
We were having a great time on the press tour for the book, going on ABC and eating cereal, or, going on the project and screaming.
It's really before and after pud, isn't it? Before pud, people falling off a barrel or something. Since pud, well, I mean, it's just people sitting around going, how do you top that? I don't think you do. Unless, I suppose, more pud.
You think it's always going to be good times, and I think it was our third or fourth year of consecutively re-uploading pud. We started to notice comments. I remember the first time I saw a comment under our third or fourth re-upload of pud saying, I think these guys might be milking it.
Would we be doing a documentary on this sketch 6 years after it if we was milking the idea?
I was shocked. I mean, I still don't think I've fully processed the fact that people could turn on us like that. Vicious comments. Why do they need to re-upload this? Oh, this was good, but couldn't I just watch the original? Horrible stuff. Horrible stuff.
The period where we were accused of milking pud was hard, but it was a learning lesson for me. And a learning lesson is when you learn lessons.
My kids were crying. They were crying. They'd come home and they'd go, Dad, is it true that you're milking pud? I say, where are you hearing this? It was a teacher.
We just realised we had to get on the front foot. We are not milking pud. With the release of our first ever book, Always Room for Christmas Pud, accusations were levelled at us, accusing us of cashing in on a popular video we made several years ago. This is not the truth.
We did the video acknowledging our mistakes. That pud, it's a little sour now. Sour pud.
I've never written anything after pud without having pud in my heart.
Zach came in one day, pud, all right, shot it, microphone on taped to a fucking broomstick. Now look at us. I learnt nothing, really.
I think the major thing we've seen working on some of the largest food search engines in Australia, like taste.com.au, is an exponential rise in searches, not for Christmas pudding, figgy pudding, plum pudding, but searches just for pud.
You think of these symbols, Dame Edna, the gladioli, Rodney Rood and his frog sack, and of course Aunt Donna and pud.
It was an exciting time at work, but I guess after we sold it, it probably didn't change that much afterwards.
Yeah, it was exciting, but life goes on.
We knew we were making something special. I'm not going to lie to you. Did I know that it would be a best-selling book? Yes. Did I know that it would be more talked about than our Netflix series that was seen by millions and millions of people around the world? Yes. Did I know that 6 years on, it would be the one thing that's talked about more and more as the years go on? Yeah, I did. But did I know that it would change Australia? Yes, I did.
I know what you're thinking. Geez, what's that special stocking stuffer gift I'm going to get for a loved one? Well, what's better than a ticket to Aunty Donna's new live show, Drem? Any little kid or old person on the verge of death would love one of the tickets to this show. So why don't you book it right now?
I tend not to make denominational decisions about what to go with pudding. I know there are custard fans, there are brandy custard fans, there are ice cream fans, there are double cream fans. For me, Christmas food really or as you like to call it, pud, is really incomplete without a brandy butter.